Good morning, greetings, America, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 30 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health and nutrition or prescription drugs, we are here for you. We welcome your calls on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about the longevity products or formulations or ingredients or skin health questions, if you have a comment or question about our Truth Skin Health products, or if you have a success story you'd like to share, we want to hear from you. Try to call in early so we can get to as many calls as possible at 844-236-6010. That's 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised or recommended on the program, you can call the phone team at 866-735-2470 or head over to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can order products off the website as well, of course. And you can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $25 fee. You can make some money selling longevity products and help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. If you would like to check out some high-end, premium, connoisseur skin health products, check out truthtreatments.com, especially our retinol 5% gel, also our Truth Serum Omega-6 Healing Cream, and Truth Balm. If you're dealing with accelerated aging or aging skin, or you want to prevent aging of your skin, or if you have acne, particularly back acne, our retinol 5% gel, really effective on back acne. Or if you just want a high-end skin health product, if you're tired of paying for water and wax and filler and preservatives and fragrances and stuff your skin doesn't need or doesn't want, you want to check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. And finally, if you want to check out some good health information, my friend Melissa Galladay is doing a weekly call on various health subjects, including longevity products. She's titling it Longer Life with Longevity, and you can learn from a pharmacist like myself. I've known Melissa for almost 20 years, and she calls herself the nutritional pharmacist. Nutritional pharmacist Melissa Galladay is going to be talking longevity. She does it every Tuesday via Zoom, an app called Zoom, or software called Zoom, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesdays. The number is 646-558-8656. That's 646-558-8656. And then you have to punch in a meeting code, which is 579-044-9276. All right. Thanks for joining us once again on The Bright Side. I want to finish up talking about cancer, the emperor of all maladies, as it has been called. Cancer kills nearly 600,000 people a year in this country alone, millions around the world. Can you imagine this? 600,000 people die and die miserable deaths. I've watched people die of cancer, as many of you have. It is miserable beyond words, and the chemotherapy and the radiation and the medical protocols that they use to deal with cancer are not much better, although, as I said yesterday, sometimes they're necessary. Cancer is not an organ issue or tissue issue, and this is where the problem comes from. The medical model addresses cancer as if it were an organ disease, liver cancer, lung cancer, bone cancer, brain cancer, skin cancer. But really, cancer is not an organ disease or a tissue disease at its most fundamental level. It is a cell disease. Surprise, surprise. All disease is cell disease, and that includes cancer. Cancer is not, we don't have lung cancer, we got lung cell cancer. We've got liver cell cancer, bone cell cancer. And this is an important distinction to make because, you see, the medical model can't do squat at the level of the cell. The medical model cannot do nothing at the level of a cell. It is an impotent failure at the level of a cell. That's why they have to take organs out and tissues out and radiate. Now, interestingly, super duper high-tech medicine, or pharmacological medicine, pharmacology, if you will, is really very proud of itself because now it's figured out how to work at the molecular level. See, there's 3 different levels where disease shows up, or there's 3 different levels where health shows up. There's 3 different levels of biology. You've got the big level, the macro level. That's the tissue or the organ. That's the lung or the bone. And then you got the teeny, infinitesimally, microscopically, submicroscopically small level. That's the molecule level. And then you got the in-between level. In between the tissue and the organ and the molecule, you got the cell. And the cell is where the action is. And the cell is what they never talk about because they can't do nothing at the level of a cell. So you got the old style of medicine, which is still present with us. It's still, old style medicine is still with us. And you got the old style medicine way of treating cancer, and that's to work at the tissue and the organ level. Then you got the newfangled way, which pharmacologists and drug companies are really proud of themselves about, and that's the newfangled way, and that's the molecule. They deal with trying to change the genetics or change the molecule inside a cell. But what they don't tell you is, because they can't do anything about it, is the disease doesn't show up at the teeny, tiny levels fundamentally, and it doesn't show up at the organ level fundamentally. It shows up at the cell level. Cancer is not a molecule disease first and foremost, and it's not a tissue disease first and foremost. It's a cell disease, as all diseases are. And we got power over the cell. That's the dirty little secret of medicine. The medicine doesn't have power over the cell. We do. There's only 3 things that make a cell sick. There's only 3 things that make a cell go cancerous. There's only one thing, really, and that's a burden, and there's only 3 things that cause that burden: starvation, suffocation, toxification. You're not going to hear that anywhere, folks. Only on this program we talk about that. Starvation, suffocation, and toxification of a cell leads to all diseases, including cancer. Cancer cell, what makes the disease called cancer unique among diseases is the fact that the genetics have been switched into a primitive way of operating, a primitive way of utilizing energy. Cancer is an adaptive mechanism. It's one of the ways a cell adapts to long-term burden, long-term abuse, long-term stress, which comes from starvation, suffocation, and toxification. All of this leads to an adaptive change, a genetic switch that gets turned on that causes the cell to apparently, seemingly grow in a chaotic fashion, but it's not really a chaotic fashion. It's more like an independent fashion. A cancer cell is growing in this independent way where it doesn't care about its neighbors, it doesn't care about the environment, it just cares about itself. Yesterday we finished up the program by talking about how a cancer cell operates like a unicellular organism. There's 2 ways cells can operate. They can operate as team players, which is what advanced cells do. Highly evolved cells like animal cells or plant cells, our cells, these operate as a team player. They form structures, they form organs, and they form glands, and they form tissues. A cancer cell is more like a bacterial cell that doesn't form organs, that doesn't form macro structures, that doesn't form organized systems. A bacterial cell just operates on its own. It just divides and divides and divides. It's not a team player. It doesn't form teams. It doesn't form organized structures. And guess what? That's what a cancer cell is. A cancer cell is a cell that's operating like a bacteria. And that's all due to burden, starvation, suffocation, and toxification. And that's super important to recognize because that's where we have control. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. All right, we're back on The Bright Side. Pharmacist Ben here. Thanks for joining us on The Bright Side. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central Time. If you miss a program, they're all archived at brightsideben.com, benfuchsarchives.com, and, well, that's it, benfuchsarchives.com and brightsideben.com. You can also, if you check out my Facebook page, my buddy Kevin in Russia, hello Kevin if you're listening, he's been posting my all the programs up with no commercials on my Facebook page, and there's also a YouTube channel that you can get to from the links on the Facebook page that have all the programs without commercials, which is kind of cool. Thank you, Kevin, for doing that. If you're interested in checking out our Truth Skin Health products, including retinol 5% gel made without preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, water, it'll last you 6 months, folks. If you use it as directed, some people use it more than as directed. It's going to last you 3 to 6 months any way you use it. It's made with more retinol than you're going to find in any other skin health product. Most I've ever seen is 2%. This one is a 5% retinol, the real deal, not the fake stuff that you see sometimes on the Amazon for $10. If you're seeing a retinol product, by the way, for $10 or $15, it's a fraud. And I purchased them. I've actually spent the $10 or $15 or $20 to purchase them. They're frauds. And it's just mean-spirited. If you want real retinol, you got to look for retinol in high enough concentrations, and you want to make sure that you're buying it from a reputable company. You're not going to find 5% retinol anywhere. Retinol is not just important for anti-aging, which it's probably the most significant, along with vitamin C, which you'll also find in our retinol 5% gel. Those are the two most important anti-aging products, but retinol is also very effective for dealing with acne, for dealing with dark spots, for dealing with dry, flaky type of skin, especially thick, flaky skin that's on the feet or on the heels. It's just a stupendously important ingredient. In fact, I consider it to be the only important ingredient, along with vitamin C, for dealing with skin health issues. You can find out all about it at truthtreatments.com. Truth Treatments, plural, truthtreatments.com. Okay, so we are talking cancer. I'm just going to say a few more things about it, and then we're going to finish up our discussion on the PPD hormones and the ketogenic diet. And by the way, both the PPD hormones, pregnenolone, progesterone, and DHEA, play a role in helping the body protect itself from cancer, as we'll talk about here in a minute. The ketogenic diet also is anti-cancer. Both of these strategies help strengthen a cell. They calm the body down. And this is really the problem when we have cancer. We're dealing with cells that are burdened, and we're dealing with a body in distress. Cells in distress and a body in distress. And the cellular distress involves, as we said before the break, starvation, suffocation, and toxification. This leads to inflammation, and make no mistake about it, behind all cancers you will find inflammation. It's one of the hallmark signs of cancer. I'm talking microscopic, teeny tiny cell inflammation, not a black eye. You don't see this kind of inflammation. It's microscopic, and of course it leads to, as we've said so many times, it leads to more starvation, suffocation, and toxification, which leads to more inflammation, which leads to more starvation, suffocation, and toxification. So what do? Well, you deal with the starvation, suffocation, and toxification. Now, if you're in the later stages of cancer, I want to reinforce this. If you're in the later, cancer severity is described in stages. You got stage 0 is the first stage, actually, and that's when you've got some cancer cells going, but it hasn't really spread. Sometimes you'll hear the term in situ, I-N-S-I-T-U, cancer or carcinoma in situ. In situ it's cancer technically, but actually, it's not really even cancer. It's a predisposition to cancer. It's abnormal cells that may become cancerous. That's stage 0. Stage 1, 2, and 3, the next levels are when you got the cancer. And the higher your number, the bigger your tumor, and the more it's spreading. So stage 1, 2, and 3 are the next stage. And if you're in stage 3 or even later stage 2, you might want to think about radiation, chemotherapy, or medical intervention, surgery, for example. Stage 4 is when the cancer spread, and if it's spread, well, it's spread. You're not going to be able to address a spreading cancer with surgery, obviously, because the cancer spread. Or chemotherapy is intense at this level, and as is radiation. So you got to do what you got to do if you're in the later stages. If you're in the super late stages, there's not much you can do except for make the body stronger. Stage 4 cancer does not lend itself very well to medical intervention, but there are stage 4 cancers that remit, that go backwards. And this is where taking care of the body is so important. The medical model of killing cancer, chemo, radiation, surgery, sometimes necessary. I'm not saying that it's not absolutely not necessary. You got to decide where you're at with your particular cancer. But the problem is these protocols don't address the cause. They don't address the fundamental problem. Thus, it should be as no surprise, as you will read on the American Society of Clinical Oncology's website, cancer.net, cancer remits, or cancer comes back. It doesn't remits is something else. It comes back. Cancer returns, and it can be very distressing. Shock, disbelief, anxiety, anger, grief. Worst of all, a sense of just being out of control. When cancer comes back, it's worse than when you get it in the first place. It's a terrible experience. This, by the way, doctors know that cancers come back, and that's why they use this thing called the 5-year survival to indicate whether they're successful or not. If you get your cancer back, you can be completely cured of cancer according to the model, but you'll get your cancer back in 6 years because they measure their success by this thing called the 5-year survival rate. And alternative practices of killing cancer are slightly better. They're not as toxic, maybe. But it still misses the point. Do you need Essiac or Hoxy or hydrazine or cannabis or turmeric or whatever, genetically modified viruses? These are all strategies, alternative strategies for dealing with cancer. Maybe they're helpful sometimes. But I like to take a different approach. The spontaneous, this is a quote from the Journal of Natural Science, Biology, and Medicine, 2011. The spontaneous healing of cancer is a phenomenon that has been observed for hundreds and thousands of years, and after having been the subject of many controversies, is now accepted as an indisputable fact, unquote. Look it up. June 2011 edition, Journal of Natural Science, Biology, and Medicine. And what this means is you don't have to be condemned if you have cancer. If one human body is capable of remitting, we all are capable of remitting. And I know there's lots of people who talk about alternative therapies, and some of them are my friends. Ty Bollinger, my buddy, he's got a great book called Cancer Step Outside the Box. It has a whole bunch of non-medical ways of eliminating cancer. You might want to check it out if you or a loved one is dealing with cancer. But I like to take a different approach. I like to take the approach that we want to change the environment that the cancer is appearing in. And this does a couple of things. For one thing, it'll be a real cure. If you address the cause and you eliminate the cancer, that's a real cure. That's not a fake cure. That's a real cure. And even though doctors hate when you say that word, if you've switched the environment of the body around so the cancer's gone, that's a real cure. And the fact that cancers remit means that that is possible. But the number 2 point is just as important, I think, because what we're doing is we're making the body stronger. Whether or not we have the diagnosis, we're making the body stronger. Even if the cancer doesn't remit, we're making the body stronger. We will feel better. Our patient will feel better. Our mother or father or loved one will feel better. And that's the ultimate goal. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thank you for being here. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got a few more things I want to say about cancer. And then tomorrow I'll talk about if you're doing the longevity products, I'll get you some good longevity stuff that you can use, not necessarily for curing your body of cancer, but for dealing with the disease, for helping your body feel stronger. I just did a call this morning for Linda Tyler on cancer for Longevity Nation, as it's been called. And I will go over some of the highlights tomorrow, some of the products we talked about for helping the body deal with cancer. And if you're selling longevity products or you're part of the longevity family, you're going to want to tune into that. That'll be tomorrow, and then we'll continue talking about the ketogenic diet and the steroid hormones. Have not forgotten those. Those are so important, and they're important for helping the body with cancer too, by the way. The PPD hormones help the body or help cells process energy. They're particularly important for oxygenation, respiration, and oxygenation is a key component, or a lack of oxygenation is a key element when it comes to why a cell turns cancerous. In fact, according to Dr. Otto Warburg, who is one of the most famous biochemists, cellular chemists of all time, that's the reason why cells turn cancerous. It's called the Warburg effect. and it has to do with oxygenation of cells. I add in nutritional issues, starvation, lack of nutrients, which are linked to oxygenation, and toxicity, which is linked to lack of oxygen. So it's all kind of one big thing. That's why I call it that's why I always mention these as the 3 points that a cell breaks down at. I always mention these things together: starvation, suffocation, and toxification. They all work together. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. I had this really cool article here. Where is it? Here it is. This is from the journal Nature Cell Biology. Breast cancer cells use newfound pathway to survive low oxygen levels in tumors. Apparently, they just found a way that breast cancer cells survive low oxygen levels. This is what I'm talking about here. Cancer cells are cells that have figured out how to live in a low oxygen environment. They've been suffocating for so long, they've now switched into an adaptive way, an alternative way of processing. According to this article, researchers have identified what they call a new signaling pathway. It's basically just chemistry. They've identified new chemistry. Not new chemistry, they've identified chemistry newly, they've recently identified chemistry that helps cancer cells cope with a lack of oxygen found inside of tumors. This is why respiration is so important to prevent cancer. I'm not going to say you're going to breathe your way out of cancer, but certainly can help. But you can also do things like hyperbaric oxygen chambers, where they drive oxygen into your body. These hyperbaric oxygen chambers are found in hospitals throughout the country, and if I had cancer, I certainly would be doing hyperbaric oxygen, in addition to all the other strategies that we talk about all the time on the bright side, because dealing with cancer is like dealing with any chronic long-term degenerative disease. Okay, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go off to Allie in Utah. Welcome to the bright side. What's up, Allie?
Hi, Doctor. I just was asking about Oxybody, and it's a product from Longevity, and it supposedly helps your oxygen levels lift.
Well,
and I wondered how you felt about that particular product.
Do you use ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies.
Okay.
You don't really breathe. You don't. I love the Longevity products, but some of them I can't really say too much about because you don't breathe through your mouth. It does contain, in fairness, it's an aloe vera base with some hydrogen peroxide, but that doesn't mean you're not necessarily going to get oxygen. Oxygen doesn't come in through your stomach. Oxygen comes in through your lungs, a little bit through your skin. So I can't really talk about the Oxybody. I can't talk about the oxygen in the Oxybody. However, what I can talk about is the aloe. And the aloe will make it easier for for cells to breathe. Aloe is an incredibly helpful substance. It's got polysaccharides, which are important for the cell membrane. Components in aloe vera can be used, broken down, and utilized to help make cells breathe at the membrane level. I'd be more impressed with the aloe in the Oxybody than the hydrogen peroxide. So I hope that helps. That was a very diplomatic answer.
And what about inflammation? I mean, I notice when I eat wrong, I have inflammation.
Well, yeah. Did you just start listening to this program?
Yeah.
Did you just start listening? Have you not listened before?
No.
Okay, we talk about it every day. I've been talking about it for decades. Absolutely. Inflammation is the body's response to attack. It's a protective response. It's a beaver's dam. How does the body get attacked? Well, if you're an IV drug user, it gets attacked through the drugs you're injecting into your blood. Most people aren't IV drug users. There's the whole vaccine thing, and that's a whole other story. But that's one of the problems with vaccines is they attack the body. There's breathing. You can breathe things into the system. But the most important way why we get attacked and then the body subsequently inflames is food. Absolutely, Allie. Right on. You're correct. If you're dealing with arthritis, an inflammatory health issue, you'll notice multiple sclerosis, autoimmunity. You'll notice you feel worse after certain foods. It's like the old joke. You go to the doctor. He says, "Doc, it hurts when I do this." He says, "So what does the doc say?" "Well, don't do that." That's basically it. Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Used to say take ibuprofen, and so for a while
there,
I was an ibuprofen person, trying to get rid of that pain. But then when I started doing Dr. Wallach's diet, I noticed when I get off the diet, the inflammation comes. When I get back on the diet, the inflammation...
You're your own doctor, Allie. Dr. Allie. And by the way, I'm Pharmacist Ben. I'm not Dr. Ben, but you are Dr. Allie. I now pronounce you, at least for yourself. All right, I got to motivate, Allie. Thanks for your call. Thanks for listening. Hope you stay listening. All right, Robin in Oklahoma, welcome to the bright side.
Hi, Ben. Can I make a little caveat comment on cancer?
Sure.
Dr. Gonzalez, who has passed away,
yes,
he advocated starving. I mean, the starvation aspect of cancer.
Caloric restriction. I don't know if he said starving. He said
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Caloric restriction and fasting. Very important.
Cancer. Not starving the body, but starving the cancer. Which is,
yes, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying.
Yes, caloric restriction and fasting are and the ketogenic diet are all very important strategies for dealing with cancer. And not only dealing with cancer, Robin, improving the effects of drugs or chemotherapy or alternative things like turmeric and aloe that kill cancer. Fasting and caloric restriction and the ketogenic diet, or as you say, starving the cancer, is a very important strategy. And I love Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez's work.
We will miss him.
We will miss him, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I have all the series of the Truth About Cancer series, and he was the most phenomenal, loving of humanity, and we will miss him so badly.
Yeah, he has a website. He has a website with a bunch of his tapes, seminars that he's done. If you're interested,
absolutely. Everybody.
I forgot the name of the website. Do you know the name of the website?
No, I do not.
Okay, just Google. If anybody out there is interested, he has tapes and he has PDF files that you can download. And the tapes are seminars he's done and workshops he's done. And you'll have to Google Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez and cancer, and I'll see if I can dig up the website. He's got a lot of good information on it.
He also, starving the starvation of the cancer has to do with the stem cells. They say, well, you're free of cancer. Well, no, you're not.
You still have the stem cells.
You still have the stem cells, and what comes out of stem cells, and that's life. So
that's true. The cancer stem cells.
I do have
you got to hang on. I'm sorry. I hate to do this to you, but we got to take a commercial. So don't go away. All right. If you're on hold, we'll get to you as well. We'll try to get to you as well. So hang tight. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We've got more health information, good health information in your phone calls right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. Gotta motivate here and go fast. Robin, what's going on? How you doing? Let's get your question.
My original call. Whey protein. I have been taking I don't want to name the brand, but it's...
You can name the brand.
Okay, it's One World Whey.
Okay.
I've been taking that whey protein for, several years.
Did you stop taking it when he changed the formula a little bit, or did you take it right through?
When they changed it, but now they're back to a much better.
They're back, yeah.
Bottom line is, it's $200 for 5 pounds.
That's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot.
It's a darn good protein, though. But that's a lot.
That's what I wanted to know. Is it worth?
Oh, it's a great protein. You'll have to make that decision for yourself. Protein's the most expensive of all the nutrients. And it's the most valuable, in my opinion. They're all important, but it may be the most valuable, arguably. And it is expensive to get quality protein. That's just how it is. If you go with eggs, that's great. And eggs are reasonably priced. Eggs are a good source of protein. Organ meats and fish are reasonably priced. But if you're going to go with the whey protein, which is next to eggs the best protein, it's going to be pricey to do it right. I use the Natural Factors whey. Sometimes I'll use the Keto FX whey, although that's got other things in it. But if I want just straight whey, I go with Natural Factors. It's organic. And then I'll also do the One World whey. Between those three, that's where I get most of my whey protein from.
When it's your meal...
that's why I mix it up.
That's
why I mix it up. The Natural Factors is the best. Next to, some people like the One World Whey, some people like the Natural Factors. Those are probably the two best ways that I've seen. It's a little bit cheaper, the Natural Factors, than the One World Whey. And I know Steven, who does One World Whey. He's a great guy. And so I try to support him wherever I can. And he does have a great product. And his heart's in the right place. He's really looking out for humanity. And that's always important when people are making medicine for us, i.e. Nutritional supplementation.
Well, Synergistic Nutrition is a good site to begin with, but they just went up, on everything. And I was just trying to weigh my
Well, I know it's hard to talk without using that word.
It really is. But it is the best I have ever tried.
It's really good. It is really good. Natural Factors and One World Whey. Those are my two favorites.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Robin. Take care. Okay, let's go to Benny in Austin. Welcome to the Bright Side.
How you doing,
Benny.
sir? I was listening to the program about cancer, and I think you answered some of my questions. But I want to be clear on the fact on if you have cancer. If I have a relative, I think they're probably stage 3, and they're using Essiac and aloe vera and a few other hemp oil. But I was just wondering, do you think cannabis oil would be good? I heard you mention it.
They're all good in the sense that they'll help kill the cancer. But like I was saying earlier, killing the cancer may be necessary, but if you're doing killing the cancer strategies, that doesn't mean that you want to marginalize or dismiss making the body stronger strategies. Does that make sense? Killing the cancer may be necessary at stage 3 levels. I'm not saying it's not. But do not underestimate the power and importance of supplementation, of relaxation, of visualization, of a caloric restriction in the ketogenic diet. These generalized strategies that make the body stronger. Does that make sense? You understand how I said that?
Yes, I think I do. So other supplements, are you saying that I should use other supplements?
Yes, absolutely. Let me give you just a few. Let me give you a few, all right? And tomorrow we'll talk about some longevity ones. But let me give you a few. First of all, the most important is to make sure you get the basics, which is, if you're using longevity, the Healthy Start Pack, the Mighty 90 Essential Nutrients. That's the basics. The second thing, vitamin C, is not even remotely optional if you're dealing with cancer. Obviously, it's not optional if you're just being alive, but it's so important for dealing with cancer. The literature on vitamin C is so compelling for help. Intravenous vitamin C, oral vitamin C, both ways. I'd be doing IV vitamin C if it was me. I wouldn't.
How do you get that?
Naturopath can do it. You're in Austin, right? I'm sure there's places where you can just look up naturopaths and IV nutrition. In fact, I would be doing IV nutrition, not just vitamin C, but also magnesium, also selenium, also something called glutathione, which you may have heard of, glutathione, glutathione, chelation therapy, where they stick a magnet in your blood, essentially a chemical magnet that attracts toxins out of the blood. Anything you could do to drive up nutrition. Essential fatty acids, the ultimate EFAs, zinc, 50 milligrams a day, vitamin E, particularly the tocotrienol form of vitamin E, and that's TOCOTRIENOLS. And don't forget the oxygen, and then don't forget the detoxification, and that includes sugar. Staying away from processed foods, staying away from sugar. The problem with the cannabis and the Hoxie and the hydrazine and the Essiac formula, the problem with those is we think we can go about our lives living our lives the same way we did that caused the cancer in the first place, but we'll just take the Essiac. You follow me, Benny?
Yeah, I got you.
So we don't address these other factors because we think the Essiac will take care of it. It's just like chemotherapy, except it's not as toxic. It's alternative chemotherapy. It's like, I'll just do the Essiac. But if you got what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So if you do the same thing over and over again in your life and you just take the Essiac, that's why these things get a bad reputation. Oh, I took the Essiac, I still died. Whatever. I took the Essiac, didn't make my cancer go away. You know what I'm saying?
Total diet change. I got you.
Everything. Don't forget prayer, visualization, mental strategies, emotional strategies, all that stuff. Okay?
One more thing now myself, I went to the doctor and I'm diabetic, and they're telling me that my kidney function is at it went from 1 to 2.3. So he's basically he calculated that to the kidney is like a 40% percentage rate.
All right. Well, you can still function. You're not in. You got to start working, but it's not like you're in dialysis range yet. How old are you, Benny?
58.
Okay. What do the kidneys do? Do you know? Their main job.
I'm not having any problems. It's just what they.
Well, you don't want to get to the point where you have problems, Benny. Your kidneys are arguably they're one of the most important organs in the body, and it's a nightmare if you have kidney. What's that?
Can that be reversed?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm telling you, the kidneys filter the blood. The kidneys filter the blood. They're spaghetti strainers for your blood. The way you keep your kidneys healthy is by cleaning the blood. You clean the blood through food and reducing your intake of sugar. The two major ways the blood gets dirty, three major ways really, are food problems, leaky gut, for particularly food intolerances, sugar, and a lack of oxygen. Those are the 3 reasons why, and you may have heard that before: starvation, suffocation, and toxic, right? It's the same thing. So what you got to do is you got to change your diet around. Caloric restriction, that is restricting your calories, go into fasting, eat as little food as you need, but especially stay away from processed food, stay away from sugar. Avoid anything that messes up your gut, digestive health, help your body process sugar, practice deep breathing, relaxation. I mean, it's the same stuff. Really, everything is dirty blood, and if you have kidney disease, you got the same thing that people have when they have anything else, autoimmunity, cancer, anything else. So it's the same strategy. All right?
Okay,
and,
this is the last thing. Okay, yes, I understand. And this is the last thing I want to say is that the doctor was suggesting that I take Levemir insulin.
Well, you're on your own on that. But when you take insulin from the outside your body, I don't recommend it personally, but you have to make your own decisions. If you're going to do the Levemir or an insulin or injectable insulin or any other drug for that matter, do it as little for as short a period as possible. There are no good drugs, period. And I'm a pharmacist, and I've studied this for 32 years. There are none. If you need them, your object is to need them for as little as possible, as short a period as possible, while you wean yourself off of them. So if you do the drugs, the insulin, okay, strengthen your blood sugar system. I got to motivate, Benny. Have a beautiful day, man. Hope we helped you out.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care, my man. All right. Let's go to Joe in Tennessee. What's going on, Joe? Got about a minute here, my friend.
Pharmacist Ben, love you, brother. Love what you do.
Thank you.
The back of my neck is breaking out. It's inflamed.
Okay.
About
Did you
3
do
years
something?
ago. What's that?
Did you fall or get traumatized somehow, or mechanical issue?
No. It's like pimples.
It's the skin.
I noticed 3 years ago, I started having type 2 diabetes symptoms. And my sugar, when I went to the doctor, it was like in the 500s.
You got to take care of that, buddy. What are you doing for that?
He prescribed me metformin, but I came home, started researching on the internet. I didn't want to take it. I found Dr. Wallet, started taking tangy tangerine, sweeties, started cardioing 3 or 4 times a week. I've lost about 40 pounds. My sugar.
Joe, good job, man.
My sugar's back down to where it ought to be.
Only got about 20 seconds, Joe. What's going? Is it you got a skin issue on the? I only got 30 seconds here.
That's when my neck started breaking out.
Okay. Get yourself on some niacin right away. Ultimate niacin. Get yourself on 30 milligrams a day of zinc, 20,000 IU of vitamin A. Make sure you're checking for food intolerances. I wish I had more time, brother, but we're just out of it. Thanks for your call, Joe. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have an awesome, wonderful, beautiful, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.